Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Cosmic Conversations. I'm your hostess, Marla Martenson, and today I'm finally talking about a subject that I have been I don't know if I want to say passionate about, but I have a lot of charged feelings around this, and I have the perfect guest. His name is Rosen, and he is a cigarette whisperer. So maybe when I saw this, I saw his Facebook page. Hey, Rocky. I saw your Facebook page, and when I saw a cigarette whisperer, and then you and I had a little dialogue on chat, and then I wanted to interview him. And then, like, the next week, he shows up at a mutual friend's birthday party, and it was just a coincidence. But, maybe whoever's watching, you smoke and you want to quit, or you have a loved one that smokes. Myself, I've lost so many people to smoking. My own dear father died at 65. It was just the most horrible, tragic thing. Many, many friends and family members. It's devastating for loved ones. So let's dive into this.
Well, hi there.
Hi, let's dive in. Okay, because I've wanted to help people. Somehow it's always been a fantasy in my mind. I want to learn hypnosis, or I want to help people stop smoking, because it's not only, toll on your health, on the people around you, the secondhand smoke, the emotional stuff, and the expense of smoking. So there's just so many factors here. So tell us a little bit about how you became the cigarette whisperer and what you do.
I was a diehard, gotta quit, can't quit, must quit, never gonna quit smoking, smoker who's helped hundreds and hundreds of people stop smoking by using a really different approach. So what I learned is there are two big lies about quitting smoking, and this has nothing to do with hypnosis.
Okay.
Prior to the last time I smoked, I'd been hypnotized 3 times. I went to SHIC. I went to smoke enders. I went to physician's clinic. I used to chew the nicotine gum and smoke at the same time, and I was on a 10-year mission to get off cigarettes. And what I learned is there are two big lies about quitting smoking. Lie number 1, we tell ourselves we don't want to smoke, and lie number 2, we tell ourselves we have to stop smoking. And they're both lies. Because if you really had to stop smoking, you wouldn't still be smoking. See, the truth is you never have to stop. Now, you may hate yourself. Your health can suffer. These things can take you out in a way you can't dream about being taken out, just the way you lost your your father, just the way I lost my mother. But you never have to stop smoking. You can smoke anytime you want to. One of the things my clients do, even after we stop smoking, is you still carry cigarettes with us. So we know we always have the choice. Secondly, we tell ourselves we don't want to smoke, but that's a lie too, because the truth about those of us who've gotten addicted, and I'm assuming, Marla, you were never a smoker?
No, but I'm so sensitive. I mean, if I would have a couple cigarettes now, I'd be sick. But years ago, I used to, I wouldn't inhale it, but I'd be puffing because I'm out with people. But often I would feel sick after, or my throat.
Well, there's a reason for that. We'll talk about being sick in a second.
Okay.
But the truth about those of us who smoke isn't that we don't want to smoke. The truth is we do want to smoke at times. We just don't want to suffer the consequences. And, you were just talking about how you'd smoke, you'd feel sick. Mm-hmm. See, according to the CDC, the Centers for Disease Control, which is not an anti-smoking establishment, they say smoking is the single largest cause of premature death, preventable disease, preventable disabilities. To put that in a number we can see, more people in this country die annually prematurely from smoking than would die from fire, suicide, homicide, auto accidents, plane crashes, train wrecks, all other drug and alcohol abuse, every American who died in World War II, and AIDS combined. Take all those modalities of premature death, make it one number. It doesn't touch what smoking does. And you know how we hear about there's so many compounds when you ignite tobacco. Tobacco breaks down to all these different compounds, things like ammonia, formaldehyde, arsenic, cyanide. A lot of people don't realize when you ignite tobacco, minute amounts of radioactive material get released. And this is where the epidemiologists believe cancers originate from these minute amounts of radioactive material circulating through our bloodstream, getting caught in a spot in an organ, starting to radiate and change the cellular structure, and cancer begins. But take all this crap out of cigarettes. And one of the things I'm really going after are two things. One is American Spirits, the most evil brand in America. 2, what nicotine is. You see, people are going back and forth from vaping and smoking and smoking and vaping. But when you vape, when you smoke, you're inhaling nicotine. And what people don't realize, what is nicotine? Well, the dictionary definition of nicotine is it's a highly toxic, poisonous liquid alkaloid found in tobacco that's used as an insecticide. Mm-hmm. So when people are smoking, when people are vaping, what they're doing all day long is they're insecticiding themselves. And you wonder why your throat feels tender, why your throat hurts, why your chest feels tight, why you feel like crap. Well, it's because all day long you're insecticiding yourself. But I can go on. I mean, this is
right.
My passion.
But you could tell someone who smokes all of this, and they still won't have an effect. Right. Maybe because they're so addicted, and it's fascinating. So here I come from a family of parents who could smoke, drink alcohol. I can't do any of it. I'll get sick. If I had 3 drinks right now, I'll be maybe in bed 2 days. If I had 9, I'd probably be dead or in the hospital. It's so interesting, the physiology or something. And then
there's a tolerance level. I mean, you haven't built up a tolerance, so of course you're going to get sick. People built up a tolerance. Don't.
I don't know. Never built that up. I'm glad I didn't. Because I don't have that addictive personality. So, but then the secondhand smoking.
I don't believe secondhand smoke is as bad as everybody says it is.
I hope not. I hope not.
If it was as bad as everybody says, we'd all be dead and dying from car exhaust fumes. But it's unpleasant. And you don't get exposed to the most secondhand smoke.
Who?
The smoker.
The smoker. Well, they get to both.
They get it coming and going. You get it coming and going. But I'm not anti-smoking. I don't care if people smoke or not. I happen to be a huge supporter of smokers' rights. I hate the way smokers are treated. I don't care if people smoke or not. I do care if they wish they didn't.
And then there's a lot of litter. Smokers throw their butts on the ground to the beaches. When I go to the beach, I'd see a cigarette butt.
Number one litter thing in America.
Yeah, they just feel it's fine to throw it right on the ground. So there's a lot of cigarette butts out there. So anyway, not to demonize you smokers. I know you're addicted, and a lot of you want to quit. So how can they work with you? What do you do? What's the protocol here? And what's your success rate? I guess people like to know those numbers.
Over 80% of my clients will get a year or longer off cigarettes the first time I work with them. I always do a free consultation. There's no pressure. There's no obligation. We can establish if we're a good fit. If we're a good fit, I'll have you off cigarettes in 3 days, keep you off cigarettes, no tricks, no gimmicks, no drugs, no nicotine replacements, no hypnosis, no BS.
Okay.
It's just teaching people how to use the urge, not fight the urge. How to turn lean, as Sheryl Sandberg would say, lean in, turn into it, instead of always trying to turn away.
And what about people who have been smoking 50, 60, 70 years already?
Yes.
The same would be the same, right?
No difference. And I can have anybody smoke free in a matter of days.
And do you do this on the phone as well as Skype and in person? How is it most effective?
I do this in person. I do this by phone and PowerPoint presentation. I work with people all over the country. We don't have to be in the same. We don't have to be in the same location to do it. It's really a different approach. Like I said, I do a free consultation, so there's no obligation, no pressure.
How long ago did you quit, and how long have you been off?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Last time I smoked a cigarette was June 17th, 1987.
Oh, wow, you have the date remembered, just much like an alcoholic has that chip that day, right?
Well, it's one of the most significant dates in my life.
Yeah.
I'm talking about alcoholics and drug addicts and people in recovery. You want to know why drug addicts and alcoholics think it's tougher to stop smoking than doing drugs and alcohol?
Yeah, they say giving up cigarettes is harder than heroin, which is...
Do you know why? Want to know why?
Yeah, why is
Because I always ask somebody in recovery, do you remember the day before you got sober? And they all go, yeah, it was one of the worst days of my life. See, with drugs and alcohol, you've got a threefold addiction. You've got a physical allergy, you've got a mental obsession, and you've got a spiritual breakdown. With cigarettes, you don't have a spiritual breakdown. You do have a physical allergy and a mental obsession, but you don't have the same bottom with cigarettes. It's so much more dubious. You don't hit that spiritual malady until you're told, hey, you know what? It's cancer. Your stroke, your heart attack, we got to go carving up your body. We got to go in. Yeah. That's when you get that spiritual bottom. By then, unfortunately, it's usually too late. And the thing about the human body, it's incredibly kind and forgiving. You know, you've been smoking for years, you probably think you're already screwed, but it's been proven time and time again. At any age anybody stops smoking, you're going to be healthier. And the body will forgive you.
Right, and it is interesting how say once you find out you have cancer or something, some people will still, they have their tracheotomy, they're still smoking, or they find...
I've had 3 clients who smoke through their throat. Well, people don't see with that, you know, it's horrible and it's sad. But
and this is interesting too. I remember I was talking to one of my mom's friends. She was over at our house, and she had her oxygen tank, and you know, we were talking about. I said, you know, have you considered quitting smoking? Whatever. We were talking about it. She says, you know what? You know, she had this like East Coast accent, and she was all, you know, talking like that because of the smoke. She says, you know, Marla, I quit smoking once, and I went to bingo, and I saw some people, they were smoking, and I thought, you know what? I feel like I've lost my best friend. Yeah, so that cigarette's friend. Like their best friend, because that's what they're doing all day.
I always tell my clients, we've been in a bad relationship, because your best friend does not...
Your best friend does not have your best interest at heart there.
Your best friend doesn't give a
flying
about you.
Right.
You know, you love them, they don't even know you exist.
Right.
I always talk about smokers have the same relationship with cigarettes that Nicole Simpson had with O.J. Simpson. And what I mean by that is, you know, how many times that girl made a 911 call? She must have called 911 at least 15 times, but she kept taking him back. Yeah. But the difference between a smoker and Nicole Simpson, the difference was where Nicole's most obvious wounds were carved from the outside in. Smokers' wounds are carved from the inside out. And, you know, people are fatalistic. We're all going to die, but how do you want to live?
Now, well, the interesting thing there is, like, my parents and many other people's parents started at 18 years old. So that was the cool thing to do. It's the 50s. They didn't talk about it was dangerous, and then they're hooked. So,
I started at 13.
Right, yeah. And in Europe, I remember I used to spend a lot of time in France, and I'd see these kids 13 with their cigarettes, and now I see high school kids walking around with their cigarettes, and that's, gosh, their lungs are still developing, and then they're getting hooked on this so early. So, and then I see people who I used to work in a restaurant many, many years, and one place I worked, the Alcoholics Anonymous group was down the street. So after the meeting, they'd come over to the restaurant to get a big table, and they would, and then smoke. Yeah, because it was the 80s, you could smoke, and they'd either be smoking, drinking coffee, or eating a lot of sugar. So they
or all three.
Or all three. So they were just replacing one, or because I guess right.
Talking about Alcoholics Anonymous, the two founders of Alcoholics Anonymous, Bill Wilson and Dr. Bob Smith, both died of smoking.
Okay, interesting.
And for people in recovery, I know how tough it is to be practicing recovery while you're still practicing an addiction.
Yes.
The dichotomy, the inner dichotomy, the feeling that the defective character. But it's a very simple solution. It's just a matter, and what I do is very cognitive. It's a positive cognitive approach, teaching you how to get comfortable being uncomfortable, which is the whole trick of life.
Well,
in the last year, I'm haunted by a phone call I got 17 years ago from this woman who said, I heard about you from my doctor. I need to see you. I said, great, let's make an appointment. She goes, well, I'll have my personal assistant call you. And I'm going, great, and I'm thinking, la-di-da. I hear back from her about a week later. I never heard from the personal assistant. I really need to see you. Can I come see you? And I go, well, yeah, let's make an appointment. Well, I have my personal assistant call. I go, well, your personal assistant hasn't called me. You and I are on the phone. Let's just get together. Oh, I don't have my calendar, but I'll make sure we get together. Another week goes by. Never hear from anybody. I try calling that number back. I can't talk right now. And 17 years later, it's Carrie Fisher, by the way. Oh. Get on an airplane at 60. And, in the last year, let's talk about some of the deaths we had. We lost David Bowie from liver cancer. I knew Bowie, and from an outer circle, but hadn't done drugs in probably 15, 20 years, and yet dead of liver cancer. Smoking doesn't cause all death and disease. Smoking promotes any diseases our body is susceptible to. Then we talk about Alan Thicke, heart attack, George Michael, heart attack, Carrie Fisher, heart attack, Glenn Fry, rheumatic arthritis. All these things are great. All their deaths are greatly contributed by their smoking.
Yes,
but
and
again,
people often think it's just lung cancer. Oh, smoking's lung. It's not. It can cause cancer anywhere in the body, or heart attack, or stroke, or many issues.
Well, like I said, smoking doesn't cause all death and disease. It just promotes any diseases or causes some diseases our body are susceptible to.
Right.
And when a person calls me, they call me because they're thinking, God, I hate myself for smoking, but I love my cigarettes.
Yeah.
And what I'm going to do is I'm going to flip that. I'm going to teach you how to get really comfortable with your urges and how to really come to hate cigarettes. Because I always say cigarettes are shaped perfectly. They're just little pricks that want to hurt you. And period.
That's right. And you should be mad at these cigarette companies that are just want you to be stuck the rest of your life and taking all your money. And also think about the loved ones, that it's so painful. My dad could still be alive today. We had planned to go to France together. There was so many things we wanted to do, and he would just be about, in his early 80s now, and he could have lived another 20, 30 years. And it's just, we have our loved ones taken away so soon.
Let me explain something to you about loved ones. If I'm talking to a smoker right now, I would ask them, who in your life comes first? Who or what comes first?
It's the cigarettes, yeah.
And they'll tell me my family, God, themselves, their job. And it's wrong. What comes first in a smoker's life are their cigarettes.
Right.
And we never gave them permission to be the most important thing in the world to us. But
yes,
that's what happens.
True.
Addiction is like gravity. It will always pull you down. And there's a way out of that. And I'm not the only way. I'm going to give everybody who might be watching this the $1 billion secret to quitting smoking.
Yes.
Don't like the next one. Stopping smoking is stupefyingly simple. It's just not easy. But when people work with me, we make that not just simple, but we make it really doable for them.
All right, awesome. Thank you so much. So everybody, his links are below, and he does a free consultation. So what does it hurt? What are you losing? Do a free consultation with him, and then maybe you're going to quit smoking, and you're going to save a bunch of money, and you're going to have better health, and you're going to be able to breathe, and your loved ones will be happy, and your house won't stink, and your breath won't stink, and your teeth won't be brown, and you're going to be...
I am simply the hardest phone call in the world for people to make. I always say a person would rather call a really bad dentist than pick up the phone and call me.
Pick up that phone, all right.
And the reason why I know that so well is how many times I made that phone call.
Exactly.
And but if you'll make that call, if you'll take that leap, I promise you, you got a real person on this side who is really good at helping people break free.
Thank you, Rocky. Oh my gosh.
I'm humbled.
You guys, please leave your comments below and let me know if you quit smoking, if you want to quit, what your experience is. I know it's hard, and I just wish you the best and send much love, and call Rocky. All right, bye. I'm going
to leave one more thing.
Okay, one more thing.
You're not only capable of stopping smoking, it's your birthright. You deserve better. We may or may not agree on much. But we can both agree that you deserve better than what cigarettes are costing you and what they're doing to you. And if you feel that way, I'm here for you.
Thank you so much.
Bye-bye. Have a good day.